It's my pleasure to address you today as Matthew's best man. It's a real honor. I'm a best man, but I'm also a best friend. Sometimes his little prince, or his baby girl for life. We have more than a few pet names for each other. For those of you that don't know me, my name is Joe.
Hello, Joe.
And it's been a true honor to stand next to Matthew today. And I'd like to say thanks to Kathy and Kevin, to John and Debbie for making it possible to be here today, and of course Matthew and Natalie for organising such a wonderful event. I'm not much of a public speaker, so Natalie reassured me when I first got the news that I was best man, that if all I say is how much I love Matthew, then that would be enough. But unfortunately we're limited on time, so sit tight. I've known Matthew for what seems like forever. Our heavily abridged bromance is like every great bromance. Fate brought us together many years ago. More accurately, it was our mothers pushing our pushchairs that brought us together while they were dropping our siblings off at playgroup. And at that moment, our eyes met across a crowded foyer, and that bond was formed. We cemented our friendship in primary school, St. Joe's. We had and still have a deep and mutual appreciation of Miss McCarthy's rainbow guitar strap. And as lovers of the classic anthem, Colours of Day, we got along great. And not to mention our natural athleticism. We were consistently ranked mid-table in sports day. The charitable inclusion in football squads and rugby squads, we really were the envy of our peers. Not that we were identical by any means. I could never really understand Matthew's obsessions with the cause, the Spice Girls, WWF wrestling. It was tricky to understand, but he never questioned my fling with netball. Truth be told, I'm beginning to quite like the cause. The first few years of secondary school were difficult for us because we went to different secondary schools, and for some relationships it could have gone downhill at this point, but thankfully fate once again stepped in and intervened in the form of musical destiny. A group of 5 self-conscious, shy kids formed a band with the sole aim of bringing music to the grottiest basements of Cardiff, the endless labour clubs of the valleys, and the Vale of Glamorgan's most prestigious church halls. We've got merch at the back if anyone's interested. Source 5, some of you might know. Probably most of you not. We're now defunct, but well, we could always come back for a reunion. Was a glue that held us together through those teenage years. Another institution in those teenage years that really made its mark was a small dance hall called Metro's. And Matthew, with his Catholic heritage, was not afraid of spirited cavorting. That's for sure. And 10 years later, we returned gloriously, and I think, well, John, I think he was a fan, but Kevin, I'm not sure if you were that surprised. It's still wonderful. It hasn't changed a bit. So. Yeah, probably for the worse, but... Once again, we came to another tricky point. Education tried to separate us again at university, but luckily at this point, communication technology had caught up, and distance was no longer a barrier, although in some ways, maybe this was no good thing, with at least half of our WhatsApp messages, text messages, when people use those, were about toileting. And the other 50% is a mix of emoticons, emojis they call nowadays, love hearts, kisses. I should just point out, it is platonic. There's nothing to everybody. Through university, or I like to call them the High School Musical years, through Disney in Florida, through Admiral and the Beard years, which I miss, the Beard years, the ongoing Taylor Swift years, and now the Bournemouth Football Club years, which I'm quite surprised about. I'm sure some of you are as well. Never thought you'd support an English football club. We've stayed really close anyway. And even if it is just a few romantic strolls down the beach to the pier every year to get an ice cream, or very frequent updates on digestive transit. Yeah, our relationship hasn't faded. And I'm telling you all this to share my credentials, to qualify what I'm going to say, because I really know Matthew extremely well. We go back so long, we're really our best of friends. And I can say with some certainty, I've never seen Matthew this happy, and I've never seen him this whole, or this radiant, and it's all thanks to Bournemouth's respectful friendship. I'm really talking about Natalie. When Matthew first told me about Natalie, I could tell she was really special because he was so excited. And he also kept it a little close to his chest. He didn't tell the Lawrence clan too fast. They can be a little protective. But she slotted into the Lawrence family so quickly with her Welsh jersey, as we were aware. And the Egans have been very polite in tolerating Matthew. He's a treasure. When I finally met Natalie, on another stroll to the pier in Penarth, I'm sure she was very nervous. Not because I'm scary, but because when your boyfriend, refers to his best friend as his life partner, you gotta wonder, what's going on? Natalie was warm, intelligent, funny and beautiful, and clearly out of Matthew's league. That's a classic ST. No, she was clearly in love with Matthew, and it was immediately as though I'd known her for years. They got on so well and made such a great team, and they made me part of the team as well. Maybe some of you can recall the events of the 23rd of June, 2016. Yeah, that's the time, that's the day Matthew asked for my permission to give his hand to Natalie in marriage. Nothing else happened on that day. And of course I did not hesitate in giving my blessing. And a few days later I was waiting by the phone, and the good news arrived, and I couldn't have been happier. Since then, I can hardly believe we've only met up a handful of times, what with living so far apart from each other. But it's enough to know they're perfect for each other. And it certainly makes me very pleased Matthew gave up his dream of the priesthood. I can't wait to get to know Natalie better in the coming years as they grow together. And I'm proud to call her my baby girl for life and more. Before I make a toast, I'd just like to quote a couple, a wise couple, talking about lifelong partnerships. It's abridged, paraphrased maybe, but if you've got love, commitment, and a lot of Source 5, you're going to be just fine. To Natalie and Matthew.
Thank you, John and Joe, for your speeches. When we were talking about speeches, I did say two things to both of them. Don't make me cry, and don't be too funny. Cheers. Lovely as the room, basically I have to say thank you a lot. So if anyone's playing any drinking games and someone's got thank you as their key phrase, then you are screwed. And I kind of did some research online, and another one of my kind of major goals is to be gushy and humorous at the same time. So I'll give you a couple of warnings. Natalie and I have watched some really emotional films in the last couple of weeks to try and get all the tears out, but I can't promise it won't happen either. It'll always happen when she walks into church. And with the humour side of things, well, I teach 4 and 5-year-olds. If you want jokes about Peppa Pig or going to the toilet, I'm good. If not. So, first of all today, my first thank you goes to all of you. Looking around the room, you know, we're extraordinarily blessed. Not just that you're here with us today, but also that all of you, each and every one of you, has been a part of making us who we are and being part of whether it's our childhood or as adults. So regardless whether you've come near or far, we really appreciate you being here. I think I've only got one stereotypical kind of thing, so let's get out of the way nice and early. On behalf of my wife and I, thank you so much for being here. We'd also like to congratulate the Welsh and English members of the audience. We've been together for a few hours now, and so far there's been no fights, no references to shit, or no references to chariots where you might like to shove them. And most amazingly, all of the singing has been planned and not impromptu yet. I mean, 5:30, I give it to 6 o'clock, so if you're not Welsh or English, sorry. We also like to thank anyone who's kind of helped from a practical point of view today. Obviously, John, Dad, Stephen, Grace, Inas, as well as Marianne and Rosalind making a bit of a late appearance when we realised we didn't have any Eucharistic ministers. Thank you very much. And also to obviously all the staff here at St John's Place, but most especially Shelley, who is that lady over there. We kind of came to Shelley about 14 months ago and said, this is what we want, and she's made it happen and made it perfect for us, so thank you very much. I'd also like to thank the bridesmaids, Danielle, Katie, Lewis and Tamara. Girls, this is hard for me. You know I don't often give you compliments, and I'm more often to rip into you, but you all look beautiful today. To be honest, when Natalie thought about bridesmaids, you were all such natural choices, because you mean so much to Natalie, you mean so much to me. And also, you know, thank you for looking after her on Hindu. I know she can be a bit of a liability after a few too many Chinzanos, but she managed to have fun, keep safe, and remember it. So we're winning. I believe, if my internet research based on Wikipedia is correct, it is my duty to raise a toast to the bridesmaids. So please would you raise a glass as we propose a toast to the bridesmaids. Alright, my next thank you is to 3 little girls. Only 2 of them I can see in the room, and the 2 of them who are here I don't think will quite understand me, but we'll give it a go. Just a thank you to our wonderful flower girls. Oh, where is she? Hi! Okay. Okay, I'll get back into that 5-page epic for the flower girls then. So thank you to Eva, Ellie and Martha. Natalie and I are incredibly proud to have you as our nieces, and just when I looked at Jo this morning and thought the day couldn't get any more cute, it managed to, so well done. So my boys, Jo, Dan, Luke and Michael, I'm trying to point to all of you so I can make creepy eye contact. Thank you for being my best man in Ashes today. You're all brothers to me in one way or another. Michael, sorry, you kind of got like stuck with me. These like had to better with me for years though, so it's fair. Thank you for keeping me calm today, and also for giving me an amazing stag do. I know I got slightly control freaky over the organisation of it, but from what I remember, I had a great time, and from what I don't remember, I'm pretty sure you're all responsible, and Sambuca's involved there somewhere, so thank you, boys. I just turned over the page far too early. Whoops. Don't worry, we've still got another 15 minutes. I'm only doing this once, so you know. John and Debbie, thank you for all your love, support and generosity kind of running up to today, and also to the wider family for making me feel so welcome. Before I met any of Nat's family, she warned me that they were very crazy. And then she met the Lawrences and the Martins and went, evenly matched. John and Debbie, officially today is the day when we become family, but truth be told, I've had like a member of the family for a very long time. So thank you for all that you've done for Natalie and I, and mostly thank you for Natalie. I won't say any more because I want to leave the gushiness for later. So, also thank you for tuning up relatively on time today. Well, basically, about half the room who have waited on, John and Debbie for social occasions will know their timekeeping isn't the best. We call it Egan timekeeping, and that was no more true than the day I asked John for his blessing for Natalie's hand in marriage. So, because obviously Natalie's a very sociable person, so I had to say I was going out with some random friend to watch the Euros and the football, so she wouldn't want to come and join. And so on the way over there, I get a text from John saying, "Yeah, I'll be about an hour late," which, considering they live half an hour away, was quite the achievement. Anyway, I get there, I'm sat next to a Hungarian man who was very happy that Hungary were winning, but thanks John for putting me through that. And then the best thing was, though, I texted Natalie and said, "Oh, you'll never believe this, my friend is an hour late." And her response was, "That sounds just like my family." What do you know? What do you know? An hour later, I was still waiting on John, and an hour and a quarter later, I was still waiting on John. So, obviously, I was very nervous at this time, about to ask John a very significant question, and I know, yeah, Martha, it's true, very important. So I go over to the bar, get a beer for a bit of Dutch courage, turn away from the bar, and who do I see? John Egan. Empty pint glass in hand. Turned out he'd been in the beer garden for the last 15 minutes while I was in my misery. So, and then he went home and gossiped to half the family, but luckily Natalie didn't find out, so that was a main thing. So, but thank you for tuning up on time today. But thank you for everything that you do for both of us and, for Natalie. Also like to give a huge thank you to Mum and Dad, as well as wider family, not just for kind of all the love, support and generosity again, running up to the wedding, but mostly for putting up with me for 29 years. The first time I brought Natalie home to Wales, first field back to Penarth, this was a big deal. I was kind of worried that there'd be, they wouldn't talk, there'd be awkward silences. If you've met Natalie or my mother, you'll know that I was a fool to think that. Within about 3 minutes there, I was kind of trying to do the baby voice and couldn't get a word in edgeways. And it's carried on ever since. But needless to say, Natalie fitted, right in. She was a Lawrence from that day. And so thank you for making Natalie so welcome in our family. One thing that Natalie did notice about our family is that we don't really show each other, we don't tell each other that we love each other. We either do it through, helping out each other out in actions, or mostly by winding each other up. However, for the record, I do love you all dearly. Daniel, might want to refill the wine, that's good. Daniel, thank you for showing me how to be a good man, and Mum, Katie, Grace, and most recently Martha, the baby. Thank you for showing me why it's so important to be a good man, and in the meantime teaching me a thing or two about colour coordination and fashion sense. Mum and Dad, I don't see this enough, but I'm incredibly proud to be your son. Oh, no, don't cry! It's doing so well. And I'm so grateful for everything that you've done for me. Obviously, Natalie and I, as we look forward to our future, we'd love to have children. And if we can be half the parents you've been to us, then our future children will be very lucky. introduce myself. It gave me just immense pride today as I stood next to the altar, next to this vision of beauty, the love of my life, my partner in crime, and my first true love, Joseph Perrier. Thank you for being my best man. Don't worry, because I put that in about Joe, I find that Natalie's really good, so don't worry. As Joe said, we met at Tabernacle Playgroup back in the day, and I'm so lucky to have grown up with you and had such an amazing background. I think the true sign of how great Joe is that within 2 hours in his company, Natalie loved him as much as I did. Almost, originally. We've been through lots of adventures together, especially those ones up in the valleys when we didn't know we'd make it back alive. And mostly a lot of walks down the beach and down the pier of the year 2014, I believe it was. But yeah, so Joe, thank you for your love, support and friendship over the last 26 years. Right now, finally, because I know you're all hungry. Now on to the lady of the day, my wife, Natalie. As many of you know, Natalie and I met on a Catholic Certificate in Religious Studies course. I think I say that after a few gin timers. As soon as Natalie walked into the room, to be honest, I just thought she was truly stunning. And when she was sharing her thoughts and opinions with the group, I was hanging on to her every word, of which there were many. However, we didn't get really much to talking, or should I say Natalie speaking and me listening, until the following course, when I made a bit of a segue for her at lunch, and she complimented my t-shirt, and she suggested that I should really go on the next course that she was going on, which to most of you probably seems like out-and-out flirting. But to me, I just thought she was complimenting my fashion sense and was interested in my career progression. I was completely oblivious, but went, yeah, maybe that's a good idea. And thankfully I did, because then as on the third course, I started to actually, open my eyes to what was going on. And then kind of, really wanted to ask Nat out, and obviously was trying to find the perfect way out. So at the end of the day, we were saying goodbye at the cars, and I think it was after about 20 minutes of me trying to find the perfect way and bumbling and stumbling around it, Natalie went, "So do you have Facebook?" Then went home, played it super cool, waited a whole 2 minutes to add her on Facebook. And even more cool, waited a further 1 minute to ask her out on a date. I'll briefly tell you about that first date as well, although there was nothing brief about it. As has been alluded to already, Natalie is a very quiet girl, doesn't like talking at all. No, that's not right. Our first date lasted 12 hours. During that time, we did what most normal couples would do within probably the first 5 days. So we did lunch, we did drinks, we did dinner, we went to the cathedral, went to the cinema, and perhaps the pièce de résistance of romance, we went to Halfords. Because I'm not the most stereotypical man, but when I need to play alpha male and change a bulb light, I can really do that. But, I know I talked about it being 12 hours, but that really gave me such an opportunity to get to know Natalie, and I knew that she was something special. And it's, something she's proven to me every day since. Right, last paragraph, I promise. Right, it's going to be the hardest one though, okay, so bear with me. Hardest because I'll probably cry, love her. Natalie, you look stunning today. Obviously I think you're just so incredibly beautiful, but today somehow you managed to kind of surpass that, I don't know how. Because, I've said to Natalie before, I saw her once when she was very tired and emotional after a few too many. And I said to her then, she was hungover with no makeup, and I said, I can't believe you still managed to look beautiful. And then, today was, another level. I knew very early on that we'd get married and spend the rest of our lives together. I've never doubted that for a second. Every day I fall more and more in love with you. You know me better than I know myself, and I think I was meant to know that Natalie really does bring out the best possible version of me. You're loving, kind, selfless, and just all around incredible. And I can't wait to spend the rest of my life with you. Not just, the really fun stuff, but also the everyday stuff like shopping, which somehow actually makes it even more fun. I'm so extremely lucky to be your husband, and I can't wait to spend many, many happy years together. So could we please all be upstanding and raise a toast to my beautiful wife, to Natalie. I did promise Natalie I'll do a freestyle rap. Just to say, because I know we weren't really in, the wedding was very short today, and Catholic weddings are so known for being in and out, and I know that you're not all churched out yet, so if it's okay, we're going to have even more church, and we'll have grace before the meals, and then we'll get on with these in, which I'm looking forward to. So yes, could I ask my godmother, Rosalind, to say grace for us?
In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Amen. Bless us, O God, as we sit together. Bless the food we eat today. Bless the hands that made that food. Bless Matthew and Natalie. And bless us all, O Lord. Amen. And now for a bit of Welsh. Fer enw tad, a mab, a ysbryd Amen.